Okay, welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our special celebration of the International Women's Day by the eLearning and Instructional Designers Hub. Welcome, everybody. Please, can you just put in the chat for me wherever you're joining from? And what time is it where you're joining from? I had a number of people reach out to me to confirm the time. Is it 1 p.m. Nigerian time, West African time, or UK time? So tell me what time it is where you are and where you're joining from. Welcome, everyone. Okay. So welcome. And we're honored to celebrate today with you. I mean, it's amazing to have you, take time to join us today and be part of the celebration of the International Women's Day with us at the eLearning and Instructional Design Hub. Today, as we celebrate women all around the world, we'll be learning from women that are making great impact in the edtech industry. Okay, I just said she's in Durham and she was getting confused. Yes, I was getting confused myself at some point. I had to keep checking my time to be sure I'm not mixing things up. So let's have more people tell us in the chat where they are joining us from. Dolapo Faiga is joining us from Lagos and it's 2 p.m. in Lagos. Fantastic. I'm in the UK. It's 1 p.m. here. Welcome, everyone. It's exciting to have us all here. So my name is Oyindamola Ojuere-Amiato, and I'm the founder of the eLearning and Instructional Designers Hub. I don't want to waste much of our time talking about myself for now because we have one of our speakers who has to be at another meeting shortly. So without wasting much of our time, I'm going to be inviting our first speaker to come up. And before I do that, I think it just makes sense to talk about the three amazing women that we have in our midst today. We have Ajo Balogun, we have Jennifer, we have Sarah. I'm not going to be doing much spending time talking about them. When it's time for their session, they're going to tell us more about themselves, the best way they want us to know them. So without wasting our time, I'm going to call on Ajo to join us now. I had it in mind that I will take pictures before Ajo leaves, and I think we'll just proceed to having her come up. Ajo, the floor is yours right now. Let's make some noise in the chat. Let's send in emoticons. Let's put in icons to welcome her. Let's show her so much love this afternoon. Amazing. So welcome. Yeah, I can. Oh, thank you, people. Thank you. Ajo, I hope you can see in the chat, people are really celebrating you. So let's have you right now.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Oyindamola, thank you so much. I mean, I'm so excited at this meeting because so much has been going on in the back end. What is even more interesting, honestly, what is even more interesting is the fact that when you approached me, I didn't even realize that I had this other talk at past. Yeah, of course I'll do it. But that really makes it more exciting because it shows that we're all trying to do what is needed in Africa. We're in the space of social impact, as we all know, to be on this platform. But quite quickly, my name is Ajo Balogun, and I'm what everybody calls a people officer. I work in HR. I've been doing HR for the past maybe 12 years or so. But my background is really in social impact from the UNDP and the Ford Foundation. So I like working with people, because I believe that if anybody wants to make any change in any area of their lives, they need to be working with people regardless. So I'm excited to be here today because of that. I'm also excited because when you think about what our numbers are, not just in Nigeria, but across Africa, we need to be working in youth development or youth investment, as I like to call it. So whether you're doing edutech, whether you're in agri-tech, whatever it might be, the importance is that you're building up other people, and also obviously that will transform to building up Africa. So I hope that introduction is enough from me. That's really where I'm sitting.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Ajo.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thank you for accepting to talk despite the fact that you have another meeting that you have to join shortly. If anyone has any message or question or comments, please just put in the chat box. I can see someone raising hand. I'm afraid we won't be able to have anyone speak now, but you can just put your message in the chat. Thank you. So Ajo, my first question for you today is for you to share for us a very brief overview of your journey in edtech. I know Mumbi is actually the chief executive director of PowerLearn Africa. But you can tell us a bit about the journey of PowerLearn and what inspired the founder to focus on e-learning initiatives.
Right. So the organization started out of Kenya, and the concept is to train 1 million software developers across Africa. Now, it's also grown into other countries. Nigeria is the 5th country. It's in Tanzania, Zambia, South Africa as well. And I'm sure there's another country. So Tanzania, Zambia, Kenya, obviously, Nigeria. So the idea for that is that you don't actually want to do things in small doses. There's no point. Like I said, if you want to do anything that not just grows your country, also grows Africa, then you need to be Africa-wide. So the tech aspect is crucial in any organization or in any training program. So we decided that to do that, it needs to sit on a tech platform. And that means that we are looking to train 1 million software developers across Africa to put them into, whether they're going into remote roles or whether they're working in any business, whether it's education or FMCGs or anything like that. There needs to be a tech. There's always a tech component in any organization. And what I'd also like to add to that is for those who are actually looking to pivot into tech, our program allows you to do that. You don't have to have any background in tech whatsoever. And what we also try to emphasize is the fact that you can actually be working in tech without actually going into coding. We had those conversations last week in another organization, in another tech platform that we're both on with Jennifer. And you can be a product manager, you can be working in UI, UX. You don't actually have to know what coding does in that sense.
Yeah, thank you for that response. That's a very good way to answer the question. I totally agree with you that for scalability, tech is very, very, very crucial. My second question for you is to tell us the challenges that you have encountered in promoting e-learning adoption within your initiative and how you have been able to overcome that, because we have noticed that a lot of people still want to learn face-to-face. There's a lot of social interaction that people really want to be involved in. So there's a great challenge globally in getting people to adopt, technology in e-learning. So what challenges have you had and how have you been able to, overcome them?
Yes, thanks for that question, Ainda. I think that, especially from our background, where we come from in Nigeria, maybe even Africa, I don't know if that's the same thing. We want the interaction. We're coming from communities. We like to interact with people and with each other. So I think if you're looking at that in itself, it's so much harder for us to come onto a program that is 80% online based. So that's the first thing that we need to talk about. Yeah. That has been a real challenge for us because people are like, oh no, where is the physical session and all of that. So we actually do run physical sessions, which only happen maybe once every month. So we bring our learners into a space, we run hackathons and master classes, we have fun with basketball and things like that for our mental health and physical fitness concept. But the challenge is really huge in terms of affordability for the computers, the resources that they need, affordability for data. Some of them don't have access to electricity. So these are the challenges that are real to our learners. And in terms of overcoming these challenges, we try to partner with other organizations. Jennifer can actually respond to that in terms of where ISN Hubs is sitting, for example. So we try to partner with those who can provide access to the spaces that our learners need, where they would also have electricity, they would have access to data, and a safe environment for them to learn as well. So the project is huge. The possibilities are endless, but we can't do it by ourselves. So that's why we seek these partners to help us to support that system for what we are trying to do to put out there and implement.
Brilliant. Thank you for that answer. I totally agree with you. People in Africa, in a lot of regions in Africa still have issues of internet connectivity, and that's why it's, we have quite a number of technology providers bringing out products that can be used without technology. For example, I know about Genially, which is an authoring tool that you can use to create content. And unlike a lot of cloud-based solutions, you can actually download the interactive videos and be able to present to your people. I mean, there are so many technologies there. And one of the things that the eLearning Designers Hub is trying to achieve is to help people, have access and have knowledge of the different technologies that are out there that can be used for our own peculiar situations, and then also build capacity. Thank you for that answer. So my next question will be to know how you're ensuring inclusivity and accessibility in your learning platform, especially for people that are marginalized and underrepresented. I think you've answered that with, some of the things you said about the area of connectivity, but what are the other areas in terms of people that have disabilities and other, challenges? How are you catering for those people?
So I think the first thing to say to that is this course allows for anybody who is interested in getting into this coding, or sorry, not coding, who's interested in getting into the tech space to come onto our program. There's no pre-required knowledge. You just, you can go from any level of, as long as you have basic computer skills, you can come onto our program. That's number one. Number two is that anybody can do the course as long as you have a computer and data, obviously. And we're also partnering with a lot of people, a lot of organizations in what we call the hard to reach areas, like you just said. So we have partners in Ajegunle, for example, who are already running some kind of concept under tech. We have partners in the north of Nigeria as well, who hopefully will include some IDP camps as well. So we are trying to make sure that tech is what the enabler will be for them to come onto our platform. Now, for further inclusivity in terms of diversity and anybody who's disabled, we're also partnering with church groups as well, and even partners with mosques, so that anybody anywhere can actually get access to it. I feel that I'm a good advocate for what we're doing, because I tell my drivers, I tell the staff in my house, I share the links for them to apply. I say, look, just tell everybody, anybody that you know can come onto this program. So that is really, so we're trying to use that word of mouth and sort of accessibility in that sense to say, please join us no matter where you're sitting in Nigeria or in Africa, and come onto our program. And really, the program is meant to change people's lives. So you can go from, so you can go from that background of knowing nothing about tech to get into the space.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for that answer. So I know you need to go very soon, but I just have one more question for you, which is talking about trends or innovation in the e-learning industry. I know your initiative is more about social impact and all that, but what trends do you foresee shaping the future of e-learning, and how do you plan to adapt, them to your initiative? What trends do you see?
I mean, we all know that a lot of shift is towards AI, for example, and in as much as our courses are scholarship-based, we're also creating courses that are going to be a bit more advanced. And these courses include things around AI and blockchain as two examples. What is also more interesting in that is that the last cohort that we had out of Nigeria and Kenya, there were projects that came out of there for people who were creating things on Android phones, which would also allow for the AI to still happen on. So those kind of concepts are really
mobile learning.
Exactly. Those kind of concepts are really interesting to us, because again, the inclusivity aspect will be part of that concept. And what is also even more interesting is that the learners are the ones coming up with these solutions. Again, that also speaks to how we are as a nation to be able to create our own solutions, which is what Powerlearn Project is all about. We're not saying that we're going to borrow some kind of a Western concept. We need to remember that as the culture, we can use our culture to create our own solutions.
Yeah.
And that for me is really why I'm on this project, because it just speaks to everything that we are about as a nation.
Wow, that's a beautiful answer. I really love the part of you talking about the fact that we need to create solutions that will solve our own peculiar issues based on our culture, our challenges and all that.
Absolutely.
And that is one thing that I know is common to most initiatives here. We are trying to train people, we're trying to build capacity in people to have, you know, that those skills that will help them to be able to, you know, have the knowledge and be able to create solutions by themselves. A lot of solutions that are created in the Western world are not tailored to Africa, you know.
I mean, why would they be?
Yeah. I mean, so we
yes.
need to get there, but before we can get there, we need to train our people. They need to build capacity. They need to, you know, have skills.
Absolutely.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Ajo. And
thank you.
I'll want to ask one more question, which will be, what would you say to anyone who is planning to transition to tech and they just feel it's a hard task? What would you say to them?
I mean, the easiest thing I think is to think about what your strengths are. A lot of people, like when we interview people, they're like, oh, my strengths are this, or but then they say, oh, my weaknesses are also this. I'm not interested in anybody's weakness. Do the things that you know you're strong at, because it takes you a shorter time to actually achieve on those things.
Yeah.
And leave the weaknesses aside. That's what I do for myself, anyways. For example, I'm terrible at marketing. I don't even try to market anything because I can't do it. So just focus on what you know that you're good at, and then just try it. Anybody, if I'm doing this, anybody else can try it. So until you've tried it, you don't know. So try it. If it doesn't work for you, move on to something else. And you can even remain in tech. You can be a project manager, you can be a product manager, you can do so many other things. As long as you're good at something, you can actually do it. So that's the only message that I have.
Thank you so much, Ajo. We are so happy to have you. And before you go, I want us to quickly take a picture while you're here. So I'll stop sharing. Let everyone try and put on their videos, please. I really appreciate if we can all put on our videos at this moment. Please, let's take a picture while everyone is here. Can we have more people put on our videos, please? Okay, while I do a screen grab, I'm waiting for more people. Thank you. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Okay, I think I would use my phone since the screen grab doesn't seem to be working. Let's have more people come up, please. I can see 8 people on my screen now. Let's keep it coming, please. Okay. Thank you. Okay, that's an encouragement for me. Let's have more people. Beautiful.
Tommy, where's your video? I can see you online.
Thank you for that. Please, guys, we have up to 18 people here. Come on. Okay, that's great. We'll probably take another one later. Thank you so much for coming, Ajo. I mean, that's been an amazing session with you.
Linda, thank you so much. I'm really glad.
Thank you so
God
much.
bless you. We'll talk later, hopefully. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.
All right. Thank you. So before we move to our next speaker, let me just quickly share my screen, please. Wow, technology is really working well for me today. I'm glad about that. So before I call on the next speaker, I will just quickly talk about myself, talk about the eLearning and Instructional Designers Hub and what we do. So I'm Oyindamola Ojo-Ariamiato. I've mentioned earlier, I'm the founder of the eLearning and Instructional Designers Hub. And other things about me that some of us probably know are I'm the event board of director at the Learning Network in the UK. I was voted in early this year in January. I'm the Chief Learning Officer at Becca Mola, which is my consulting my consulting practice in e-learning design solutions. And I'm also a community builder, which is the reason we are here today, the e-learning designers hub, e-learning and instructional designers hub, which is championing e-learning in Africa. And what we are doing as a community, what we are doing is to develop capacities in digital learning design to strengthen our L&D functions in Africa, basically through skill acquisition with major focus on e-learning. So we have our webinars, we have free webinars, monthly webinars, where we talk about learning and design trends in relation to e-learning design and technology. We have workshops. Some of us here have been part of our workshops. The last workshop we had was on scenario-based learning, which we had for 3 different Saturdays. Each of those sessions being like 2 hours, practical sessions, and we give assignments, and we also showcase people that do the assignments well. And we have our first conference coming in May 8th and 9th, which you're going to be hearing from us. We also have our cohort-based boot camps, which is where we delve into practical solutions, where we teach people how to become e-learning and digital and instructional designers. We have them immersed into projects where they learn about learning principles, instructional design principles, and we also have projects where they actually create learning solutions, and then they also learn how to create their portfolios and how to optimize their LinkedIn profile and resumes to be able to get good jobs, either in Nigeria, Africa, or globally. That is what the eLearning Designers Hub is all about in a nutshell. And next, I'm going to be calling on our next speaker. If anyone has any question concerning the eLearning Designers Hub, just put in the chat. So our next speaker now is Jennifer Jonathan, who is the founder of I'm trying to remember what BE means, the Bridging Education Gap in Africa. Yes, that almost went off my head. So let's show some love to Jennifer in the chat. Let's, send emojis that will help her feel welcome right now as she mounts the stage. Welcome, Jennifer. The floor is yours now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Super excited to be here. My name is Jennifer Jonathan, and I'm the founder and executive director for Bridging Education Gap Africa, BIGA. So at BIGA, what we do is to support vulnerable students across underserved communities with access to quality education. And we do so by providing school materials, their learning materials to these students that are in these schools, right? And we also support their teachers with classroom materials as well as teacher training programs to ensure that they are properly equipped to be able to deliver quality education to the students. So in summary, that's what we do at BIGA.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Jennifer. I mean, you're doing an amazing job with teachers.
Thank you.
Building teachers who are able to teach people. I mean, children who are in marginalized communities. That's an amazing thing. There's so much gap. I know that there's so much gap in that area, and it's amazing to see people like you take up the responsibility to do that. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Can you just share with us a bit of your journey? Getting into this, starting this initiative. What really got you to, start this initiative? Yeah.
Okay. So basically, first, I'm a computer science graduate. I'm just gonna put it on the side so we can get to it when it comes to the tech part. But it all started when I think my first actual job was also in the not-for-profit sector, and also supporting out-of-school children now, right? And so I did that as a program manager for a couple of years, about 5-6 years or thereabout, right? And I kind of like soaked myself into it. It's more like when you see these gaps and you just can't walk away to an extent, right? So it's a different ballgame when you hear about them, when you read about them, right? It's totally different. Not when you get to spend every day, you know, visiting schools, interacting with the students, understanding the realities and the peculiarities, and you just realize that, oh wow, it's totally different, yeah. And then a part of you just sticks, a part of you just connects to the situation, wanting to profile solutions and all of that, right? Yeah. So whilst there was the core program was like getting kids into school, I could also see the big gap with regards to the kids that are currently in school. Yeah. You realize that they are in school and they still come to school with bathroom sleepers. Some of them don't come to school with sleepers at all. They come with a nylon bag, with one notebook, you know. And I keep saying, if a child should come to a classroom with just one notebook, I wonder if the child is really going to learn, right? So is it this one notebook you use to take all the subjects, the same notebook you use to do the assignments? What about textbooks, your uniform, confidence, how you feeling in the midst of your friends that probably have a number of these supplies and you don't have? How is that affecting the child's confidence and also leading to the child's academic performance, you know, and all of that? So it kept on disturbing me to an extent, right? And then at some point I had to be the one to address this gap, right? I had to come up with a plan to say, you know what, let's actually be the guide for these kids that are in school that needs the support, the vulnerable ones, those that don't have parents, those that are orphans, those that live with their grandparents, those that are facing challenges, right? For those that have parents and they are not supporting their kids and they have the money to, it means that what they need is more of advocacy, letting them understand that the importance of education for their students, for their kids, you know, and all of that. And let's also equip these teachers so that they can actually deliver quality education to these kids, because statistics shows that more kids are in school than out of school. And interesting, over 80% of these kids that are in school are not learning. Why are they not learning? Right? And it's so the gap is so much in all this underserved community, and it's a concern. Right. So I think that's where the whole journey started, right? And currently today we have over 345 kids that we support here in Lagos. We are also having another distribution event on next week Friday as well to support more kids, right? And it's a full circle program, right? It's beyond just the supply and all of that. There are a lot of work goes into play, where from profiling, even selecting the schools based on our baseline, and then conducting a baseline assessment, you know, so that we can go back and check, have there been any improvements with the academic performance, even with the attendance rates, right? The use of the supplies that we have given, how has it been in any way impactful, right? If we're conducting trainings, what were the effect of the training? Was it any way impactful, you know, and all of that? So that's how it all started, yes. And for the tech part, remember the part I said I'm computer science graduate?
Yeah.
So I think earlier last year or thereabout, we want to reach more kids, right? And we want to do this seamlessly, right? So I think the first thing we did was to launch an automated application system, right? Embedded to our website to say, you know what, we're going to just put it out there and keep growing and then keep announcing, making name. And then community people now know about this organization, and they can just easily say, there's a school in our community that needs this assistance that these guys are providing. And they can champion to reach out to us using the automated application system, you know, to just request for support for the schools that are around them and for the students that really need it. Before we now finally said that we also want to reach more teachers, and we want to do it so seamlessly, right? We want to be able to train teachers across public schools using a platform which now better the bigger learning management system.
Amazing. Thank you so much. You've actually answered like 3 questions that
Oh my God.
I was going to ask, which is okay. I was going to ask about the impact of e-learning projects that you have done and how it's making a difference in the community. You talked about teaching the teachers. Can you talk more about that?
Okay. So I'm going to start with what our goal is for the year, right? For the year 2024, our goal is to support 2,000 teachers.
Okay.
Right. And so because we're currently here in Lagos, but have our volunteers spread in across different states, We even have our executive assistants in Abuja, right? The e-learning platform serves as the best platform to reach these teachers across the states, right? And so we have created unique and very important topics, right? From effective classroom management, because those are like the basic things that this teacher actually really lack. Before we're even going to subject-specific trainings, we want to say, you know what, there are ways you can actually organize your classroom that can encourage the child to learn, right? There are ways you can assess your kids. It's more than just taking assessments from maths and English and saying, oh, first, second position, third position. It's more than that, right? How to assess your students, how to give feedback, and all of that, right? And so the structure of our own e-learning platform is that we're going to be taking like some level of assessment to see and understand the level at which the teacher understands the topic the teacher is about to take, yes, before the teachers go on and take these courses online. And then afterwards, we're also doing like assessment after every models, and also trying to do like a little workshop at the end of the training, and it's already showing that it's definitely a very important and effective way of reaching the numbers, and reaching the teachers that we're actually looking to work with, whilst we understand definitely the challenges around it. But yes, so far it has proven to be a very effective way to actually conduct the trainings.
Yeah, thank you so much for that answer. I can see one thing I can take from your response is the fact that your trainings and learning interventions for the teachers are learner focused. You're taking time to understand what their needs really are. It's not just about thinking, okay, this is what a teacher should be able to do. You are conducting your analysis and understanding what exactly they need to be able to achieve, and that informs what's learning interventions you are bringing to them. And I like the fact that because they are teachers, they are teaching people, they are providing learning interventions to the students, right? They need to be able to know how to design learning experiences around the content. And I like the fact that we had a discussion also. You're trying to achieve that for them this year, and that is one of the ways that the eLearning Designers Hub can really partner with you, like I mentioned earlier, because the e-learning and instructional design course and bootcamp is majorly about helping people to be able to design a learning experience around the content. So we're happy to partner with you in that. I believe we'll talk more after this, and you're doing an amazing job. My next question for you will be to ask about how easily are these teachers adopting technology, in the learning, and also the students. What plans do you have for the children that are being taught? I know that may be a very hard task, but is there a goal, like a long-term goal, on how to help the children be able to learn with technology? So those are two questions in one.
Okay. Well, for the teachers, we all know the realities, right? So and when designing this, right, we have projected those challenges that will arise, right? A number of the communities we work with are really, really, really underserved communities, right? And they're telling you they don't even have a browsing device. They don't have internet, right? And who's going to provide data? And a number of those things that goes on. So here's the approach we decided to use. Whilst the platform is open, right, and free for teachers to just go online and take the courses there, we know that these teachers, it's going to be very hard for them to just wake up and then go online to take the course. It's almost very impossible, right? So this is how we do it. We do it school-based, right? We approach the school where we have beneficiaries or schools that are out there, and then we're saying that, okay, this platform will be used to train your teachers. We are here to train your teachers, right? And this platform will be used to train your teachers. For those teachers that don't have the browsing devices, we are going to collaborate with Hub. So I John mentioned about the Innovation Support Network, because amazingly, I'm also part of the Innovation Support Network, and this is a network of hubs across Nigeria. So it's a national network. That simply means they have their spread in every state in Nigeria, which makes it easy. Yeah. Right? To say we want to collaborate, to say make your hub closest to this community a center. We will give you some level of incentives, right? To allow these people to come and take their training through the laptops or computers that you have, right? And internet that you will provide for them, right? And we're saying we're giving the school a particular timeline or a particular period to say maybe if this course is supposed to take 2 weeks, we're saying we're onboarding your teachers. So first is to go there and even explain what exactly the platform is all about, the course that they should take based on the research we've done for the particular school, right? And we're saying that, okay, so you're taking this course and it takes XYZ period of time. You are engaging the school head, right? Because those are the ones that would actually really push the teachers to get to commit to learning, you know, and all of that, and taking the course online. And once that is done, right, we're also working with them from the back end to see that they are actually taking the courses, right? And then we're going forward to assess them and also create the workshop. So we're doing it not just openly to say that all schools should just quickly do it. We're not doing it like school by school base. So with regards to the numbers and our goal for the year, we're looking at Lagos, Kaduna, Ogun State, and Oyo State. And this is the same format that we are looking to say, you know what, government, we want to conduct this training and we're giving access to XYZ number of teachers in your state, right? And you're picking the schools that really, really needs the training now, right? So for us to engage this school owners and get the teachers on board, successfully onboard them, and we leave them to take the course. We have already matched you with the hubs that you probably need to give you the support that you need. Right, for those that have a browsing device and don't have data, we are looking for partnerships with telecommunication companies like MTN and all of that. And amazingly, MTN is like one of our partners as well, right? So they will provide you with the data, right? And then you just take the course, right? And be able to learn on our platform. And let's see the result that comes after it. So normally how it runs is that after 6 months, once you have completed the program, we are meant to come back and see what has changed, what has changed in your classroom, right? And that brings to the impact of the program on the beneficiaries now, the kids, right? We're coming to see how.
Oh no. Okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah, but so once we're taking the baseline assessment, we probably have also conducted to see the performance of your students, you know, what is the classroom setting like and all of that, right? So at the end of it, we want to see with what you have learned, right? Have you been able to at least infuse that into your way of teaching these kids? Have you been able to infuse that into setting up your classrooms and all of that? We want to be able to see that after learning, you are able to really implement all that you have learned on the platform.
Wow. Thank you so much. There's so much that you're working on and trying to achieve, which is really, really amazing. I love the fact that there's so much emphasis on measuring impact. You know, you have an evaluation strategy in place to assess, you know, the impact of what you're doing, which is really, really amazing. And the fact that, you know, when you do that, you get feedback from people to know ways you can improve on your initiative. That's really, really amazing. So I would say the last question that I would like to ask would be about the teachers you're teaching, the people. I think for your initiative, the question that will make sense is to understand the kind of collaborations. I know you have some collaborations in place. Can you talk a bit more about the kind of collaborations you need? You never can tell where this video will get to, and what kind of collaborations are you looking at for the children, for the teachers? Yeah.
Okay, so for the teachers and for the students, the level of collaboration we're looking at is professionals that are going to come up with. So we have been able to successfully conduct some level of survey to see like the areas where these teachers have gaps, right? And areas where we're looking to provide training content and all that. So definitely we're hoping for partnerships with individuals or organization that will be able to create content for the teachers and also for the secondary school students, because we have as beneficiaries of the platform, we have the secondary school students who are going to be taking courses on financial literacy, career guidance and all of that. Courses that they don't really take in school normally, right? And then obviously partnerships to reach more teachers, because definitely funding go into partnership with the hubs, and also providing data and all of that for the teachers that will be taking the course. And also, so basically content and then funding partnerships.
Yeah, thank you so much. We have a question in the chat box from Dolakmo Faiga. She says, what medium do you use in getting across to the teachers to be trained? I think that question has been answered already. Yeah, the platforms, and also liaising with the head of school, understanding what resources they have, what's the best way they can learn, what works for them and all that. Thank you. So thank you so much, Jennifer, for sharing about your initiative, the impact you're making. We are so proud of you. And we celebrate you as a woman on the International Women's Day. Thank you so much also for coming to be part of our celebration at the eLearning Hub. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So next, we're going to be, if you don't know much about the eLearning and Instructional Designers Hub already, this is a QR code on the screen now that you can just grab a screenshot and go to our website to know more about what we do. We conduct webinars, we train people in e-learning and instructional design, and our goal is to, at the end of 2025, to have built capacity, to have built digital learning design capacity in L&D professionals, 500 L&D professionals by the end of 2025, at least 500 people. And we do this through webinars where we have global L&D professionals come to speak to us about e-learning, design trends, and skills, to train us in different skills. We also have workshops where we actually delve into e-learning design workshops, e-learning design models, and we use technology to design learning. And we also have our conference coming in May 8th and 9th. You're going to be hearing from us concerning that. And we also have our flagship bootcamp course where you will learn how to start your journey as an digital learning professional. So without wasting much of our time, I'm going to be introducing our next speaker, who is actually an e-learning designer as well. So let's welcome in the chat with so much love, Sarah Yusuf, who is the founder of the eAcademy by Kaizen. Let's show so much love in the chat. Let's welcome her. Welcome, Sarah. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Becca. Thank you. I hope you can hear me.
Yes. You're welcome. Okay. You're welcome.
Thank
you for coming, for accepting to be part of this, event. We are really glad to have you here. Thank you. So we want you to start by telling us about yourself, about, the eAcademy by Kaizen, what you do.
Yeah. Okay, so interestingly, I have a first degree in English.
Wow, amazing. Well, this is an interesting story. I want to hear more.
Very interesting. So 10 years ago, if you had asked me, I would definitely have no idea that I would be in e-learning or the Academy by Kaizen will exist or anything like that. However, this journey started towards the end of business school. I had to work in a company. So I worked with Amadeus IT group in France. And at the time, I was working as a manager for one of the regional communities of practice. And that was sort of my first exposure to virtual learning, because this community of practice covered West Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And it was quite interesting to see how, you know, we were just leveraging technology and connecting all of the subject matter experts and working together and etc. I didn't think much about it until I came back to Nigeria and realized, or rather at that time, I was now able to see that there was a gap. And like I had in the conversation with you, the first industry that I was trying to break into with e-learning was the healthcare industry, in terms of training in the healthcare industry. And pre-COVID, nobody was listening to us. I would make presentations, go to organizations, and it's like, look, guys, there's a market here. We don't have anything that exists for Africans, by Africans. There's Allison, but it's not for us. There's nothing on malaria there and everything. And nobody was listening. And somehow we did a pro bono project for Port Health Services at the time. And after that, COVID came. And when COVID came, everybody was all of a sudden looking to that person who was trying to sell something that nobody was buying. And at that time, there was a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos. And we, working together with a team at ADRAP, one of the organizations I also partner with, we built the first online learning management system for the treatment and knowledge of COVID-19 in Nigeria. And that kind of just opened up the market for all of our other projects and all of our other endeavors. But eAcademy by Kaizen was very specifically built with no very specific target in mind. The idea was really to bring some sort of democracy to education, make it accessible, make it versatile, make it impactful, make it meaningful, cut across people who are maybe already in fields or are looking to upskill or reskill. And so we are working across board with different organizations, with different partners, and across different levels, really, to bring knowledge to organizations, to people, and to communities. Presently, one of the work we're doing is with the US government, where we are building courses for nursing and community health educators. So these are people who train our nurses, who train our community health educators. And we're saying, you know what, we can teach them about strategies for better teaching in their classroom. And the best way to do this across 37 states that we have in Nigeria is to do it online, virtually, in a self-paced, in a very coordinated, very controlled learning environment. Another endeavor we are also currently working on is a concept called edutainment, which is bringing together education and entertainment. And this is targeted more towards, children aged 6 to 12, trying to introduce them to topics in STEM, in civic participation, in social entrepreneurship, in responsibility and governance. And just, we're really building a platform that can bring in different elements, different components, cater to different people of different classes. So whether they're people in urban regions or in rural regions, well, we want to be able to meet them. We want to be able to teach them. We want to be able to build something that they can relate to and that they can work with. So technically, that's a summary of what we're doing currently with eAcademy.
Oh, that's amazing, amazing, amazing. I love the fact, I love the part of your story talking about before, pre-COVID, when you were trying to sell your solution to people and they just didn't see the need for it. And then COVID came, that's the thing about seeing a problem and doing something about it and position yourself as the go-to person. Imagine if before COVID, you did not take the step you did. When COVID came, while a lot of people were thinking of how they will make money, the business was just there for you. Amazing. That's a great one. And what you're doing is actually similar to what we are doing in the e-learning and instructional design solution, just that we are focusing more on building capacity. Like you said, you came and you saw this need. A lot of organizations in, L&D professionals and organizations, they design training. They do a lot of facilitation, but there isn't so much of learning design done tailored to the need of the audience that is going to take, those learning material, that are going to consume those learning materials. We won't say much about that here because a lot of people may not really understand. But so I love what you're doing, and we're trying to have more people build capacity in digital learning design, because with the advancement of technology and new technologies coming out every day in the edtech industry, we don't want to fall back in Africa. We want to build the capacity of our people. We want to have more instructional designers. We want to have more digital learning designers who can actually make a difference. And that is what the eLearning Designers Hub is all about. And it's amazing to know that we have women. I don't know how many women, I would say a woman who has that skill and is already making a change. And you know, the amazing thing about digital learning design skill is that it doesn't require coding. It's one of those tech roles that doesn't require coding. It's one of those tech roles that you can make use of a lot of transferable skills like project management, data analysis, business analysis, you know, and communication skills, you know, soft skills that you already have. So if you are transitioning into instructional design, you don't need to, well, I won't say there isn't much that you need to do. Just like any other career that you're transitioning into, you need to learn about, you know, that career. But there is a lot that a lot of people already have. It is one of the easiest careers that anyone can transition into, because almost everyone has been involved in learning. So you have come across learning, whether face-to-face or digitally, you know, before. So you already have an understanding of learning in a way. So I'm really proud of what you're doing, and we celebrate you for the impact that you're making. It's really, really amazing. So I have a question for you, which I believe you should be able to, you know, do justice to being an e-learning designer yourself. You know, looking at ahead of the trends, what do you see? You know, looking ahead of the trends and innovation, what do you see as what will shape the future of learning, and how are you adapting to it? You know, you can only talk about yourself, right? So tell us what you see to be the future of e-learning and digital learning globally, and how your organization is already adapting to it.
Now, this is very interesting. What I see as the future of e-learning is really behavioral science.
Okay.
And behavioral science in the sense that, you see, when we talk about e-learning, in most cases, people are thinking about the technology and not people.
Yeah, true.
But e-learning in itself is essentially people-focused, but technology-enabled.
Yeah.
And so science for e-learning, the tech for e-learning is the process, but the outcome is the behavior. So what is, you know, what am I looking to see? And so one of my mentors, Matt Wallat, actually, he's a behavioral scientist, and he wrote a book called Start at the End. And I have not seen a place where it is most impactful or most relevant as it is with e-learning.
Yeah.
And what I always tell people is, before you step into any e-learning project or endeavor, you need to have a clear picture of what the behavioral outcome of this endeavor would be. And that outcome would inform the design, the technology, even the way the messaging is channeled. And for me, that is the aspect really that my organization is trying to key into when it comes to the future of e-learning. Like I was talking of the edutainment projects that we're embarking on. The first question we asked ourselves is, what are we trying to do with early years children? You know, what exactly do we want to get? And we said, you know what, we want those people to have relatable figures in science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We want them to be able to see themselves in characters, to be able to, you know, I want to ask a 10-year-old in school, who do you want to be when you grow up? And she's talking about a character that is relatable to her in her context. And when that vision came about, we said, okay, now let's start working from the end. If this is what we want to see, how do we do it? And that was where edutainment came in. Now we could have started from, you know, why don't we teach children STEM? if we start from teaching them STEM, then we'll be looking for STEM teachers and classroom, and that is actually not taking into account the outcome at the end of the day. So for me, I think the future of e-learning is really behavioral science. As e-learning designers, as e-learning entrepreneurs, we need to begin to think about behavioral outcomes. So when I'm building a course, what is the direct outcome I want to see? And it's quite interesting because when you know, Jennifer was having a session, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know, it was to work backwards from this. So what do we want the teachers to be at the end of the day? Now, how do we design backwards to get them to that? So it's behavioral science, really. Understanding that science is the process, behavior is the outcome, and then being able to marry it and then start working backwards from there, especially for those of us in Africa. Africa is a unique continent. It has its own manner of approach. It has its own uniqueness, its own potentials, its own dynamics, and how all of these things play out. And there's a way our people receive messaging that is very different from the rest of the world. It's quite unique everywhere you go to, absolutely. And I want to see more e-learning designers actually paying attention to behavioral outcomes. What should be, you know, at the end of the day, what is the behavioral outcome I want to see? Now, how do I work towards that? And that is where, you know, the concept of starting at the end really comes in. And so I truly believe that the future of e-learning is behavioral science, and we need to begin to look at that and to marry it together. So whether it's training for an organization, training in a community, training across a generation, you know, we should be looking at what is the outcome? How do we want to change what we're seeing? How do we want to impact things? How do we, you know, what exactly do we want to see people do at the end of this? And all of that should now inform how we build. And so in essence, what I'm saying is we all will kind of have to learn some psychology.
Yeah. True. Oh, yes. Oh, thank you so much for that brilliant answer. I mean, I was expecting you were going to say something like AI, you know.
Well, it is one of them, but it's
learning
not
and
the
all that.
foremost for me.
I mean, interestingly, you know, behavioral science has always been at the core of learning design.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's, you know, I teach people to become e-learning designers, and you know, before you start thinking of a solution for you know, any learning intervention for any issue you're having, one of the things you need to do is to start with the people. What the people, and then with an alignment with your organizational goal.
True.
You know, those are two things that are very important. Before any organization would say, we want these people to learn, there's a reason why they want these people to learn or change their behavior so that they can probably work better and then be able to, you know, generate more return on investment. Or is it in education, you want them to become better at what they do to acquire a skill? So you need to start with the people. You need to understand the organizational goal. You need to know where are you taking them to achieve your organizational goal. What behavioral change do you need in your people? What part of those behaviors do they already have? What skills do they already have? And then where are they lacking? And then that helps you to craft your outcomes, learning outcomes. And then you start thinking of, what do we actually teach them? How do we teach them? What's the best approach? What is their technological, you know, capability? What technology is available? What resources do we have? And then you put all of these things together. And like you rightly said, technology is not usually the starting point. In fact, there are some learning interventions that you don't need technology. It's very hard to have any learning intervention now without technology, really. But, you know, it doesn't have to be high level technology all the time. At times, it's face-to-face learning. And then because people will still make use of their phones and other things, technology still comes to play. But you don't start with technology. And that is an amazing, you know, response I have given to that question. We have, you know, really almost come to we have almost, you know, gone past our time. And I would like to have us once again, you know, scan this QR code if you want to connect with the eLearning and Instructional Design Hub. You know, coincidentally, this month, starting next week, we have our next cohort-based bootcamp where we are helping people to transition into instructional design. So if you would like to be part of that, all the information is on our website. What we do e-learning, free e-learning workshops and webinars. We're into free mentoring. If, for example, you want to be mentored in your journey as an instructional design, you need someone to guide you hand by hand, guide you by the hand, and, you know, take you through that step, and somebody you can talk to that can be accountable, that can help you in accountability. You know, we have all that in place because we have people who are volunteering to help you. There are people who are L&D professionals who are already having, you know, doing different learning designs at their work. They are L&D professionals working in corporate, and they can help you start that journey. We have a community where you can ask questions. We share knowledge. We have webinars. At our first conference, like I mentioned earlier, our first virtual conference is starting in May. It's going to happen on May 8th and 9th, and we'll be reaching out to you to tell you, you know, more about it. And of course, we inspire ourselves to win. For example, this event we're having now, showcasing what women are doing in edtech, is to inspire other women to know that they can do the same and even better. So we have our WhatsApp group. If you would like to join our WhatsApp group, we have, and if you don't want to be part of WhatsApp, you can join. Sorry, you know, it's more like I'm fiddling with the we have our WhatsApp group, and we also have Discord group. If you don't want your number to be, you know, accessible to people, you can join the Discord group. And that is our QR code again. Oh my God, I was planning to go back and I keep, okay, yeah. So reflection time. I want us to have a little bit of interactivity. Can you just scan this QR code? Scan this QR code and let me know what you see at the end. It's actually a question for you, and okay, in order not to waste our time, it's more about what we have learned today. I want us to reflect on everything that we have listened to today, everything you have heard today, and tell me how you have been inspired. What step would you like to take based on what you have learned today? So if you can see my screen, it should bring you to somewhere. No, not this. Let me, for those of us that cannot scan QR codes, let me just share the link with us in the chat. So you can just click the link in the chat, and what did I just send? Share link. Okay, good. I think I shared the wrong thing. Okay, yeah. Click on that link, and it will take you to the screen. And I'm supposed to be able to see your answer. Every one of us is supposed to be able to see your answer on the screen here. Are we able to access it? If you click on that link or you scan the QR code, I want us to reflect. Just think about what you have learned today. All the things you have listened to. We learned about the Power Project, Power Learn project in Africa, where they are helping people transition into be able to learn how to code and build solutions that will help our continent. We heard about Jennifer talking about how she's helping children in marginalized communities learn and become, you know, be able to have access to education. And we have also learned from Sarah, who is helping organizations improve on their learning by designing effective learning solutions. And you've also heard about what the eLearning and Instructional Designers Hub does. We are helping people to build capacity, which also means we're helping them to be able to be employable. And for those people that would like to use their skills to make more money and be freelancers, this is something that you can do. So I'm supposed to see your answer here as you I can't see anyone coming in yet. Tell me what you have learned. How have you been inspired? What change are you going to make, whether you're a man or a woman? Okay, great. I have one response. I guess people are thinking and trying to come up with something amazing. So I have, as we can all see on the screen, there are amazing things being done in e-learning. However, there is more to be done. Africa needs to keep working until we become a global reference point for e-learning. Absolutely. And that is a call for as many people here who are thinking of a career in tech that does not require coding, a career in tech where you most likely have half of the skills that you need to do well in that career, and you would like to become an e-learning designer. We need more people to champion e-learning in Africa. We need more people to be able to adopt technology to help us improve on our digital learning in Africa. We need more people. Amazing. So someone says, start an e-learning project with the outcome in mind. Behavior science is the future of e-learning. Great. I love that. That is your takeaway from this session. Can we have more people tell us about their takeaway from this session? Let's keep it coming. I'll just wait for 2 more and then we'll round up. Just 2 more. Are we thinking about it? Are we trying to, write something? What have you learned today? It might not even be that you're thinking of making an impact. What have you learned? Okay, somebody says the end goal of everything is what impact will be made to individuals and communities, and using e-learning to create such impact. Beautiful. That's amazing. I love that. I mean, like, as you have rightly said, the end goal of everything should be to make impact in the lives of individuals, to make impacts in communities. And we are, our focus is e-learning, and we want to create impact with e-learning. We want to create impact with digital learning solutions. Amazing. Can I have one more? And then we'll go to the next thing. While I wait for another response. I'll come back to this. So before we move on, can we just have another snapshot? I'll appreciate if everybody can just put on their videos. Can you put on your video? Let's take a snapshot as we celebrate the International Women's Day. Let's put on our videos and take another snapshot with our speakers. Okay, I have 2 people who have put up their videos now. Can we have more people? Is Jennifer still here? Oh, I think she has left. Okay, Bumi, thank you. Let's have more people put on their cameras. Let's take pictures. Hey, thank you. So I'm going to share my screen again. And as a reflection, and one of the things that I also want us to take from this session is the fact that if you have a dream that keeps you awake at night, go for it. Just start. Take one step at a time. Even if it looks magnificent, you're not even sure of how you're going to achieve it, just start. The vision becomes clearer as you take every step. And making impact is very rewarding and it brings fulfillment. Absolutely. I want to share with us another QR code for us to connect. Doesn't seem to be in this slide. Okay. Thank you. Does anyone have any question for us? Any question for our speakers? Any question for me before we call it a wrap? Before we wrap up the session, does anyone have a question? Questions are welcomed. Does anyone have a question for us? Questions, questions, questions. Does anyone have any question about transitioning into e-learning design or anything at all, making impacts? This is time for questions. Okay, I have a question for Sarah though.
Okay.
Okay, so I would like you to just talk briefly about how you transitioned into instructional design. I know you said you were you studied English. What were the steps that you took in transitioning? Can you just, tell us about that?
So long story.
Just summarize it.
So I studied English, then I went for NYSC. During NYSC, I was working with a healthcare organization. So at the time, I thought I was probably going to build a career in some healthcare program or healthcare intervention program. So I did a first master's in healthcare leadership, which was managing and administering healthcare programs.
Okay.
And when I finished that, I joined a project that was done by the federal government. And the project was really about, harmonizing the National Human Resource for Health programs in Nigeria. So I thought that sounded absolutely amazing, human resource for health. So I said I was going to do human resource for health. I worked for about 2 years on that project and decided, you know what, let me get a business school degree. I honestly can't tell you why I did that now, but I know I went to business school in France and I studied international human resource and organizational development. But during the process of my study there, I was more drawn to organizational development courses, organizational development program. I think somehow, I was open to this whole new world of organizational development that I never really thought about. So when I found myself in Amedios, I was working clearly on an organizational development project, which was managing a community of practice. And one of the things that struck me the most about the role I had at Amedios was how I was tasked with identifying subject matter experts across Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and then kind of finding a way to extract the knowledge they had, codify that knowledge, and disseminate it to other people. And that was where this whole thing started from. It was such an interesting thing to do. I found out that most times, people didn't even know how much they knew until you were trying to get it out of them. And it kept coming. And while that was happening, my mind automatically began to think about, Nigeria. I mean, this was a market I didn't see existing at the time, and I knew that we were getting there. We definitely needed to be there. That was what we needed to do. So I worked with Amedios for a very short while, and I packed my bags and moved back to Nigeria, which was like the craziest thing to do. And I moved back in 2019. So when I moved back to Nigeria, the first thing I did was join a healthcare organization and say, you know what, let's train healthcare workers virtually. I can extract knowledge, I can codify knowledge, I can disseminate it using technology. This is what I've been doing for the past months at Amedios in the travel industry, but it's like you said, it's a transferable skill, right? So we really, that was where we started. And a lot of things I know today from instructional design were self-taught. I made a lot of mistakes on the job. I mean, I remember looking at my first project and I'm like, who did this terrible work? But it was at the time I was learning and it was self-taught. I learned online. I learned from people who were already in the field. At that time, I realized that even in Nigeria, it was still a new field. Many people were just starting. So I just joined the flow and started with them. And right now, most of my work is not it has nothing to do with the technology, really. Of course, I can identify the technology, I can pick the technology, but I'm now working with a team who are very specialized in different fields. And so for me, my job is really to design the learning, to visualize the learning. I absolutely love the process of storyboarding, just bringing everything to life. And all of these skills really were self-taught. I read the books, I took the online courses, I spoke to the people who were already doing it. I came up with some inventions and innovations of my own, and I was able to pull all of that together into where we are. I think as I'm going on, I'm still doing that. But again, it doesn't mean everything learned or all of the schooling or the job experiences. Of course, the dots all connect. I'm drawing from all of those experiences. And I think that's the beautiful thing with the learning industry is the experiences you have are never wasted. They always come, especially when you're now trying to teach people, whether you're doing it physically or virtually, you will definitely need it. So in summary, really, that was the transition story, and that's what brought us here.
I mean, that's really, really amazing and inspiring. I love it. I mean, it's a bit similar to my story as well. I did a lot of I taught myself a lot of things, doing a lot of research. I mean, self-taught, you did some courses online, which, were things that I did, and I took it a step further, and I did a course. I obtained a certification. And one of the things I realized in my journey is that if I had someone who had held me by the hand to show me what was really necessary, the time it took me to get to where I am would have been shorter. I would have spent less money, having to pay coaches and all that. But everything came together, the experience and all that, and it's amazing. And that's the thing about e-learning design, digital learning design. And you said something about so what you were talking about is that you don't do much of developing the course with technology, for example, visual design, but you do the analysis, storyboarding, and that is what learning design is.
That's what learning design is.
That's what learning design is. You consider the people, you consider the organizational goals, the people's need, the outcomes, the storyboard. So what the developers are going to work on, you already did it. So it's called learning experience design. You already designed the experience, not just the content, but the interactivities, the activities that learners will be involved in. Are they going to have to do this assignment? Are they going to have to do this, is there going to be social learning? Would there be, what format of delivery? Is it going to be synchronous or asynchronous? Is it going to be, self-managed? Are they going to be taught by an instructor? You do that. That is actually what learning design is. It's not just, it's not the, animation. It's not clicking buttons. That will not get anyone to change their behavior. It's the design of the experience around the content that actually gets people, first of all, to be motivated, because a lot of people are not motivated to learn, right? So you want to design in such a way that people are motivated to learn, and after they learn, there's retention, which actually changes them. And you talk about the assessments, the evaluations and all that, which is really amazing. It's amazing. So thank you so much, Sarah, for that. I think Jennifer and Ajo have had to leave. And yes, the only ones still here, which we really, really appreciate. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the nuggets about e-learning design. And to everyone still here, we say, please use the QR code on the left to connect with us on LinkedIn. The one on the right is to our website. You get more information about us. I've put a link in the chat for you to join our community on WhatsApp if you haven't. And then, somebody has a question actually. Okay, one moment. Connect with us. And there's something we are doing in still part of our celebration of the International Women's Day. If you know of any woman who is doing amazing things in edtech, please tag them on our LinkedIn page. There's a post that asks for us to do that so that we can celebrate them by showcasing them on our page. So the question from Philip, so what techniques can be used to evaluate the outcome of a course integrated with behavioral science? I guess that's for you, Sarah.
Well, Philip, this is you're asking for, but really, it's not complicated, right? When you are building a course and you started with the outcome in mind, that means you have created a benchmark already. And so everything you're building is linked back to that benchmark. And so, like I tell people, the thing with behavior is that it's not covert, right? It's very overt. So I can see if there is a change. I don't have to guess. So the truth is, you need to be clear about what exact change am I looking to see. So take, for example, I built a course, and let me just be practical so we can really summarize it and not go so theoretical. I built a course for nurses, and it's called Customer Service for Nurses. Now, that course was built as a demand based on the fact that people were not very happy with the kind of service that they were receiving when they walked into a healthcare facility. Nurses are rude. They don't listen to us. They don't, all those complaints. So when we were to build that project, we did it in partnership with the Nursing Council, really. It's like, look, we need to do something about this. We want to see nurses who see themselves as service delivery providers and see their patients as customers, see the patient's family as customers, and are able to relate with them that way. Now, for every organization, whether it's a hospital or a facility that project is deployed in fact, one of the things we did in deploying that project was embedded in the project were checklists for the nurses themselves to be able to evaluate their behaviors, for the nurses to be able to evaluate their organization, how conducive it is for them to behave properly as service providers to the patients. And so today, if I'm going to, check, okay, evaluate the outcome of this course, going to a healthcare facility that this course has been deployed and speak to the people. It's behavior, it's not hidden. Is there a change? Yes, then it worked. Is there a change? No, it didn't work. And it's really just, with behavioral science, it's really straightforward. If the desired change is present, then it worked. And so benchmarking is the number one technique that you should be looking for. You should know what exists before you came in. You shouldn't guess it. Your survey should be elaborate enough. The data should prove that this thing was lacking. This is how we were able to implement it in the course we are deploying. And now it is present or not. So I think basically that's just to summarize it really, I mean, sorry, I'm having to rush. That's really how it should be.
That's true.
Send me a message on Instagram or something.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that, Sarah. And, in addition to that, like Sarah said, you need to do your need analysis. You know where you want to take the people to, and what do they need to get to that point. You have identified that, you have your learning outcomes, and you have, those to refer to as learning goes on after you've designed your learning. You have your outcome. This is the outcome. Learners should be able to do this. Learners should be able to do that. And then after they take their courses, there's something also called evaluation strategy. There's a Kirkpatrick's evaluation strategy, which allows you to be able to evaluate at different stages of your design. The first stage is that, as learners engage with learning, you want to look at their engagement. Are they actually engaging? Are they motivated to learn? There are different ways to achieve that. For example, if you're using an LMS now, the LMSs will help you to be able to know whether people are completing. You can know the completion rate. You'll be able to know how well they are doing in their quizzes. If you have like a virtual classroom or face-to-face classroom, look at the way they are listening to you, the way they are engaging. Are they asking questions? Does it look like they understand? And that observation, the result of that observation, the feedback from that observation will help you to know whether you have designed your learning in such a way that it is engaging and people want to relate, they want to engage with it. They are motivated. If they are not motivated from what you've seen, then you want to go back to your design and see whether you need to tweak things to get them engaged. Another one is in the quizzes. How well are they doing? If after they engage with the learning, they are not passing the quizzes or the assessment you've given to them, that means they're not understanding what you have taught them. So you want to look at what you want to change in your method of delivery. And then the level of evaluation of, their change of behavior. Like Sarah said, have they been able to change their behavior as we proposed. And then the last one is the organizational level. There's usually, like I said earlier, an organizational goal for organizations wanting people to engage with learning. And then are we achieving that goal? For example, customer service professionals, you want them to be able to engage with people and help them solve their problems. We want them to be emphatic, to demonstrate empathy with the people that call. You want them to be able to reassure people when they have issues, to solve their problems. And then when that happens, what happens to the organization? Organization is going to have repeat customers who want to keep engaging with the organization, and there's return on investment. So these things are interwoven. There are other, techniques that you can use for evaluation. But however, with what Sarah have said and the examples I've given, I hope you have that question answered for you well, Philip. So thank you, everyone. We have come to the end of this meeting. Thank you so much. Don't forget to connect with us on LinkedIn and on our website. I can see a comment here. Somebody says, I want to say thank you to the facilitators for organizing this seminar. Though I joined late, but I have learned that it doesn't have, I don't need to, I don't need coding skills to transition into e-learning, but there are other soft skills that I have that can help me to be successful. That is absolutely true. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you for celebrating International Women's Day with us. Connect with us and have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your week and the weekend. Bye for now. Bye, everyone. Bye. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome, Philip.